Look up the word crazy in the dictionary and you might just find an asterisk beside the definition that says, listen to the Subiquitous podcast featuring Sue Duffield and you'll find out what crazy means. Sue's travelogue journey of unfiltered stories, impossible miracles, and faith-filled fun will be revisited right here. So buckle up and let's get going with this humorous travelogue of an unfiltered saint, Subiquitous.
Do you know what I do in a hotel room sometimes when I'm on the road by myself? Maybe that wasn't a good thing to say. Well, it really is the truth. I watch America's Funniest Home Videos, if I can find them on the cable networks. And it is just, I don't know, it's just a way that I can decompress after driving or doing events. And it blows my mind, some of the stupid things that happen in the broadcast world. However, I have been part of that myself, and that has been so much fun over the years to actually make fun of my own craziness. Welcome to Subiquitous Podcast again. This week is going to feature some fun things that we did in the broadcast world, whether radio, television, or recording studio. When I was working for WNRK Radio in Newark, Delaware, I also trained young men and women to come and spend some time with me on the morning show from the University of Delaware. And I let Dan have the microphone for about 10 minutes, and I told him what to do. And he was as nervous as anything, but I said, you'll do fine. You're going to do fine. Just introduce the artist. We were at that time a easy listening format, and he was a young teenager, so I didn't even think that he wouldn't know the names of some of these earlier artists. And for sure, I said, I'm going to run down to the store and get a sandwich. And I'll tell you what, Dan, why don't you introduce the news and then put on a couple of records, and I'll pick it up when I get back. Well, he was a nervous wreck. So I got in the car, and as soon as I turned the radio on to hear what he's doing, this is what Dan said. Well, welcome to the show. And now here is Blame It on the Bossa Nova with Eddie Gorm. And I about fell out of the car because it was Edie Gourmet, of course. You can't. Eddie Gorm will be permeated in my brain for forever. Then my news guy named Chuck, one day we were talking about a young man who had unfortunately passed away of a heart attack. And I was in Studio A, he was in Studio B, and I was kind of controlling him going on the air and off the air and then bringing in mutual news at the top of the hour. And I accidentally hit one of the knobs on the board that was an echo, a reverb chamber knob. And he was talking about this prominent person that had passed away. And basically, I hit that knob at the time, at the very second that he said this, and so has passed away, unfortunately passed away of a heart attack, and it went on for infinitum for I don't know how long. And I laughed about that. I thought, where was the Billy Joel song? Heart attack, you ought to know by now. Oh, this is what makes life so wonderful. So my co-host, Mr. Jeff Duffield, is probably thinking, we could make a living at this. We could actually make a living at some of the greatest bloopers we've ever had. We can.
Yeah. With you, I don't know if we call them bloopers or just...
It's just me.
It's just life for you. I don't know. But yeah, you live in that world.
One of my favorite ones recently was we were in Branson, Missouri, and Jeff and I were singing on a show there. And when we saw the rebroadcast of the show, Jeff, you remember this, they rolled the credits and said, we're so honored to have Jeff and Sue Guffaled.
That's pretty much, if that's how you pronounce it.
Guffiled. The Guffaleds from Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, famous. Very famous.
It was good.
Yeah. Yeah, it means so much to have your name on a computer or television screen and
we've
then
been
have
messed
it
up.
mangled.
We've been introduced as Jim and Gloria.
Yeah, Jim and Gloria. The Jeff Duffield Trio one night, and there was only two of us.
Were we introduced as the Jeff Duffield Trio, and were there only two of us? I don't remember that.
Night, out in Pittsburgh.
That's funny.
We were in Pittsburgh, and the guy, we're so glad to have the Jeff Duffield Trio. I'm looking around for the third person.
Maybe you thought the keyboard was
also
another.
thought it was a jazz trio. I was looking for the drums and the upright bass. But
Well, we did have a singer with us for a while, Wendy Miller,
Yes.
who sang with us as a trio. We did some great events for 13 years together.
But that wasn't one of them.
But that wasn't one of them. She was not with us. But I do remember being introduced one time where the pastor could not remember what her name was and said, now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jeff and Sue Duffield and the girl that travels with them.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Which she was overwhelmed with joy to hear that.
Do you remember that small little cable television?
Studio?
Down
well, it wasn't Cape
it
May.
Cape May
It
County?
was Atlantic City.
Was it Atlantic City?
It was. I'm pretty sure it was Atlantic City.
And there was only one gentleman there that ran everything.
He did everything.
He answered the phones. He cleaned the floors. He made the coffee. He ran
the audio.
The
allegedly
video.
ran the cameras.
The one camera.
Yeah.
And we were singing a song, and I think the microphone.
We were
this
sitting
went.
back watching. We were in the corner of the control room. The corner of the studio, as it was, and that we were doing a religious broadcast, and there was a gentleman on there who was preaching after we got done singing.
Yeah. Oh,
and
that's right.
They did not have handheld microphones. They had a lavalier, and it was one of those old 50s style,
right,
where it looked like a hot dog. They were about that big, and it hang down.
Did you wear it around your neck on
it
a
had a rope
lavalier kind of thing?
You had a rope. You put it around your neck, and it's the kind you'd see in the 50s and 60s on news broadcast on TV. And that was the microphone. That was the one. I think they may have had another, but that was the main microphone. So that got passed around. He was standing at a lectern, and the idea was someone had placed this lavalier microphone on the lectern, so it would pick him up.
And then it fell off.
He got bouncing around a little bit and pounding the pavement, as it were.
But the visual.
And it fell off.
The visual, though.
Fell off on the floor, so you hear this clunk,
So all you could see.
And neither one of us moved.
No.
But the engineer came out of the control room, and he got down on his hands and knees,
that's right,
so he'd be out of the picture. And he reached up and grabbed the mic. But if you look at the monitor, the TV, all you see is
his
this hand, nondescript hand coming up in front and putting the microphone back up where it was supposed to be.
Thing from the Addams Family
Exactly.
coming out of the box, trying to find the right place to place the microphone.
And our problem was trying to remain and laugh quietly.
I
It
don't
was
know.
very difficult to do. We're
so
sitting
hard.
in the corner.
It's so hard not to just crack up and just. I had to walk out. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you did. You got up and snuck out and went out in the hallway.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Well, another part, too, was when we were on Pittsburgh's CTVN, and that was when Wendy was singing with us. In fact, it is on YouTube. We've got a lot of crazy hits on that one.
You should have the link on there.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
the
yeah.
Duffield
Just look
Meltdown or
Duffield
something like that?
Meltdown on YouTube. Yeah, just put Duffield Meltdown on YouTube.
And you both brought that upon yourselves.
Well, we did. We were doing a live broadcast for their share-a-thon, and
neither of you were paying attention.
we were not paying attention to
No.
the producer.
No.
We weren't. We were. In fact, here's how the conversation went. We went like this. There's a DSW down the street here in Monroeville. Let's go get some shoes. And the next thing I know, he's pointing at us, and there's the beginning of the track.
Yeah, and I was trying to get your attention from the keyboard to both of you to wake up and pay attention, and you did not hear the voice across the room saying, now we're going to turn it over to the Duffields to do a number. And I'm over there trying to do anything I can to trigger both of you, and it wasn't working. So the music starts.
It did. And then
let's preface this by saying this was a number that you and I had done
for
together
years.
for years
Right.
as a duet.
Right.
And that the song always started
with me,
with you singing the solo.
But now Wendy does
prior to Wendy. But then when Wendy joined us, you gave the solo to Wendy.
So, but I still, in my maniacal way,
well, you were caught off guard.
I sang, and then that was it. And then we lost it, and then she lost it, and she couldn't even get through the.
Yeah,
and
because you both started singing at the same time, and then that triggered it.
And then the camera camera guy and the producer in the booth was panning the phone station where the phone calls because he knew we had lost it.
She's standing there laughing. And you're barely able to sing yourself, and you're standing there trying to sing and laugh with your eyes closed.
I was singing. I was really laughing, but it sounded like I was crying. When you pass through the waters,
that's pretty much what it was.
But I'm trying not to laugh. But
just go to YouTube and search for Duffield's Meltdown. Isn't that what we called it?
That's what. Yeah, it's called Duffield's Meltdown on YouTube.
Doesn't last long.
No.
It's only maybe a minute and a half long, but it's pretty funny.
But unfortunately, there's always those events when you're actually in the wrong set. You're on the right program, but you're on the wrong set. Remember going to Huntley Street years ago up in Canada, in Toronto? They had us come up, and I was doing a Women in Media Day, which was wonderful for this broadcast. But on the same exact program were two theologians that were going to talk about Leviticus and a lot of the earlier Old Testament studies. And so during the commercial break, and they brought me on, they put me on the wrong set, and here I am sitting in the Old Testament exegesis of the book of Leviticus with professors, and here's me. And I'm trying to tell the producer I'm in the wrong set, and they said, "Oh no, go ahead."
I was trying to do the same thing off camera, and they weren't listening to me either.
Oh my word! And then finally,
I felt bad for you.
I know it was embarrassing. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I could do was just keep asking questions. So, what do you think about this, Sue? Well, I was thinking the same thing. What do you think about that?
They caught on to you after about 5 minutes,
sure
but that was okay. You did the best you could.
I mean, all the one-way Bibles that I read my whole life didn't help me.
No, with seeing your life pass
There's
before you.
There's only one way.
It is a shame when you see your life pass before you.
So what we're going to do today, we're going to go. We went back in the archives a little bit, back to 2018, and I was asked to be the opening comedian to warm up the Huckabee Show audience back in November 2018. It was a very, very wonderful invitation, and I enjoyed every minute of it. We have the audio segment of that, and there's a lot of crazy stuff that went on that night. But all I'm going to say is everything that I've ever done in my life of any kind of success always comes out of some sort of self-deprecating humor. And
you had some this weekend.
This weekend, yeah.
Because you've stepped out.
Oh, you would have to bring that up.
Well, I've just seen you limp around.
Oh, I know. I am stiff today.
You stepped out, and I'm proud of you. But you stepped out the other day.
You're proud of me falling into a hole?
No. No, you've taken up the game of golf.
Oh, that's going to come on another podcast.
And anyway, we got you a nice little starter set, and we went to the driving range the other day. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, is in your genetics, because your mother and grandmother did the same thing years ago. You sometimes fail to look where you're walking.
I know.
And right as you come up the apron of the driving range, where the whatever they call those places are, where you go to hit the balls, there was a hole there somewhere in the asphalt, and you didn't see it.
That's right. And what did we find out from our friend Jonathan yesterday? The reason they call it golf is because all the other four-letter words were taken.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you were trying to invent a couple.
I know. It was awful.
Anyway, you're doing better.
We'll talk about that another time down the road. But in the meantime, let's go to, in fact, Hendersonville, where the Huckabee Studios is. And if you've not had a chance, hopefully when this pandemic lifts and a lot of these shows start to open again, I just encourage you all to go to a Huckabee Show taping. It is wonderful. Governor Huckabee is the real deal.
Yeah.
I had some wonderful moments with him backstage by myself. And what a generous, loving, and caring and giving man. And his show is just great. And you can get it on cable networks around the country. So we're going to go to the Huckabee Show from November 2018. And here we go.
Known for her off-the-wall Jersey logic and sacred sarcasm, Sue has found a style of humor that resonates with audiences everywhere, and she has no trouble making people laugh. Singer-songwriter, former radio personality, and author who is receiving rave reviews for her new book, Sue-biquitous, a humorous travelogue of an unfiltered saint. Join me in welcoming your warm-up comedian tonight, Sue Duffield.
I got lost. You know what? My theory in life is, though, if you can't lose it, just decorate it. What do you think? Remember the Carol Burnett routine when they said they saw it in the window and they couldn't resist? I saw this on my grandmother's table. Do they even make doilies anymore? I'm like, oh my word. So here's the cool part. The cool part is you are the best audience in the United States of America. Give yourself. Oh. So my daughter says to me the other week, she's going through all my clothes in my closet, and she says, Mother, at 63, please do not wear that designer clothing Sag Harbor anymore. Please just stop it. Get rid of it. You get done with it. And so I laugh about all the wonderful things that over the years, you know, you just dress it up, but you just say, well, what are we going to do with that? We don't know what we're going to do with that. I'm on that new low-fat diet. All my fat is now low, so it's like... So when you wear one of these kind of stretchy materials, you just go with it. We've got some Jersey people in here somewhere. Some of my dearest friends right here, I paid them to come. I gave them $100 if they would yell. Living in Hendersonville, I'm a Jersey girl. Came to Hendersonville about 10 years ago, saw the light. Hallelujah. And let me tell you, we were so excited. About 5 years ago, Dollar Tree came to Hendersonville, and we were, oh, and they say there's no God. I mean, it was just, and we were thrilled because, you know what, you don't have to get as dressed up as you do when you go to Walmart. So it's just, you just go from there, and it never ends. It's this whole fashion thing. And so I'm laughing to myself because one day, I was thinking about, you know, different kinds of processes of getting, you know, making sure that your clothes fit right and you say the right stuff. You want to be politically correct. You want to do everything right. And so I'm on a plane and I have a dress on. And my daughter says, Mom, you know, remember the old way when we'd get on a plane, we'd be all dressed up and we'd look beautiful? Well, this was good. Got a nice little dress on. Turbulent plane, awful. And I need to use the lavatory. Of course I do. And so I'm in the back of the plane, and they said that the front of the plane, the lavatory is not working. So I get up, and there's a young couple next to me, and I say, you're going to have to let me out. I need to use the lavatory. And the girl says, didn't you hear the pilot? The pilot just said, whatever she said. I said, listen, if you don't let me out of here, it's going to get really ugly. So... I get out, and I go to the back of the plane, and I get into the lavatory, and as soon as I get in there, the pilot says, bung, all passengers, please report to their seats immediately. And I have a dress on, remember? And I go, and I walk the entire aisle of the plane with my dress stuck in my underwear, the whole... Now, I don't know this. I later on in the hotel room that night, I went and I looked on YouTube to see if somebody had their iPhone out taking a picture of me. I get to my row, and there's a turbulence going on, right? And I get to my row, and this young couple sitting there, and I said, listen, just sit there. I'll crawl over you. Excuse me, pardon me. And it wasn't until I sat down on that I realized I had exposed my granny panties. Yes, I did. The girl next to me says this. She says, I was going to say something to you. I know what to say. I said, honey, by the time I got to you, it was too late anyway. So now I'm laughing and crying at the same time. Raise your hand if you've ever laughed and cried at the same time. Oh, listen, this is the best medicine you can ever give your body. I have a friend of mine who's an endocrinologist, and she says if you can laugh and cry at the same time, it's an amazing experience. Trust me, I was super cleansed that day. Anyway, so I'm like going underneath of the seat to try to pull my purse out. And when I pull my purse out, I pull it up upside down, and my pen went this way, and my wallet went over here, and business cards are flying. And a guy on the other end picks up one of my business cards, and it has my picture on it. And he says, "Oh my gosh, are you in show business?" I said, "Yes, as of today. I just showed my business." You can't write this stuff. Oh. So I travel all over the world, and I started out singing. That's mostly what I do, but I killed somebody the last time I sang. True story. I was singing "Until the Day God Calls Me Home," and she went... Third row, a woman in her 90s in a wheelchair just saw Jesus right when I was singing. Now, what makes that event even funnier is that an hour before that, it was a chicken dinner. And a woman started choking on a piece of chicken. That's how the day started. And so the table behind us, there's a woman going... And we had EMTs and nurses and doctors in that, and they ran over there, and they're doing the Heimlich. It comes flying out. That's how the day started. It was just, I knew it was going to go downhill from there. So then later on, I'm singing, and this woman, I promise you, third row in the back, and she's, and that was it, until the day God calls me home. So the pastor comes up, and he says to me on the stage, he says, "Sue, just keep singing. Don't worry, we got an ambulance coming. We have EMTs. I mean, right in front of me. They're working on her. Just keep singing, Sue. Don't worry about it. Just keep singing." So I'm singing, "Amazing, how great thou art." I'm singing everything. Finally, Sister Spiritual, all the way in the back, stands to her feet and starts heckling me. And she says, "Sue, I think it's terrible that you keep singing." Now, the pastor keeps going, "Just keep singing, Sue. Just keep singing. I think it's terrible. We should stop right this minute and start praying and interceding for this poor woman." Now, a nurse comes up to me on the left side, and she just looks at me and goes, "Sue, she's dead." She gone. All of this has gone on the same time. And then I keep singing, and then the preacher goes, "Just keep singing, Sue." The woman goes, "Oh, this is awful, Sue. You have no compassion." The woman goes, "She's dead. She's gone. So I'm going to sing the last verse, so you better get your heart right with God right this minute. I'm just going to tell you. Until the day God calls me. Just keep singing, Sue. I think it's terrible that you... She's dead. She's home. I don't know. Oh, I wish for once I could take every single one of you on the road with me. You can't believe the things that we see on occasion. It's just crazy. So then I really blew it one night, singing to about 300 women in a Chocolate and Chuckles event. And a woman brought her young girl, her little baby with her, and the baby cried the first 10 minutes. That's all she did, kept crying. And finally, 10 minutes, she finally takes the baby out. And this is what comes out of my New Jersey mouth. I said, "You know what? If that was me when I was a kid, my mother would have hauled my to the parking lot." Except I said the word, a double scribble, right out loud. Those women looked like the carolers at Christmas time. You know, those figurines? The picture of Jesus on the back wall unhinged and started rocking from side to side. Finally, a teenager all the way in the back yelled out from the back of the auditorium. She said, Sue, it's okay. Ass is in the Bible. I said, yes, and mine's in a lot of trouble right this minute. So in honor of Julie Andrews, how many Julie Andrews fans do we have here? We have Julie Broadway. See, I started out doing all the youth events. Now I'm doing all the senior events. And ironically, I'm singing to the same people. This is just for you. How many AARP card-carrying people do we have here? Do you notice how long it took for them to put their hands in the air? Here we go. Maylocks and nose drops and needles for knitting, walkers and handrails and new dental fittings, bundle of magazines tied up in string. These are a few of my favorite things. Cadillacs and cataracts and hearing aids and glasses, Polydent and Fixodent and false teeth in glasses, pacemakers, golf carts and porches with swings. These are a few of my favorite things. When the pipes leak, when the bones creak, when the knees go bad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Verse 2. Hot tea and crumpets and corn pads for bunions. No spicy hot food or food cooked with onions. Bathrobes and heat pads and hot meals they'll bring. These are a few of my favorite things. Back pains, confused brains, and no fear of sinning. Thin bones and fractures and hair that is thinning. And we won't mention our short shrunken frame when we remember our favorite things. When the joints ache, when the hips break, when the eyes grow dim, then I'll remember the great life I had, and then I won't feel so bad. So this technology thing has just absolutely become so out of control. I mean, my first iPhone I got from my son and my daughter, they, about 10 years ago, and they said, text us when you want us. Don't call us anymore. Just text us, right? So my first official text to my son went like this. Hi, honey, I'm flying into Philly. Pick me up at the airport. He answered back, LOL. I mean, is he going to pick me up? LOL. I don't know what it meant. We went back and forth, and it's like ROFL, CGU, roll on floor laughing, can't get up. We were just going back and forth with all this crazy stuff. I take the message over to China, and I take it to Malaysia, actually, in this wonderful church, a Chinese Malaysian church, and I teach them a song called LOL. If I was to say LOL, what does LOL mean? Lots of love. Lots of love. Yep. Loose old ladies, whatever, all that. So I sing this song, LOL, and I forgot that the Chinese have a hard time. They can't say American L. And so I'm going, LOL, and what comes back is, RRR. I go, LOL, and they go, RRR. The pastor got up and he says, Sue, we're very sorry. We can't pronounce American R like you. It's not our fart. And I just, Friends of mine are here. They go to Beijing. They go to China, take their gospel group there all the time. They said they just have hard time with rhythm. They don't have rhythm. It was really hard. And the pastor says, this American group come all the way from America and you know crap with them? You crap really good. Come on up here and crap right here. So the whole LOL thing is this. What you laugh about defines you. And what you cry about refines you. And what you pray about assigns you. But what you give to God aligns you. I love you with all of my heart. I'll see you later. All right.
Your encouragement, feedback, and comments are always welcome here at the Subiquitous Podcast. Email Sue at radiosue@me.com or go directly to her website, sueduffield.com. If you've been inspired today, share this episode with your friends. The Subiquitous Podcast and Sue Duffield Ministries are part of Ennoble Ministries, a 501c3 nonprofit helping women in ministry around the world.